Hello, and welcome to the finale recap for The Amazing Race Season 35. It's incredible that we've done 12 of these already. And we want to say thank you all for your patience. We know that this happened 2 weeks ago, but, this is a really hard one for us to do. This was a difficult leg for us to talk about. Yeah, there's just so much emotion that we experienced going through it, feeling it, coming home, moving on and processing it, and then we knew that this last episode was coming. So, the whole time we had to get ready, and then watching it live. Oh man, how do you feel watching it? Yeah, I agree. Watching it, I wish that we had gotten better directions. I have all these things that I wish, but you can't have those. Everyone's got their if. Other teams who got eliminated, they have their what if scenario. We don't get one. No one gets one. So you just kind of have to live with what happened. But I am so proud of us. We got to the final three. And I think what really helped is going to that finale party in New York. One, it was so fun. And two, seeing all of the teams that we care about and they supported us. And I loved that whenever we were on screen in first place at the beginning, there were so many people that were cheering for us and clapping. So I know that people really liked to watch us and felt, empowered by our story and our relationship. So that helps a lot. And so thank you for all of your support watching. And this season was probably the best month of my whole life. So, obviously the very end is not exactly what we wanted, but I'm so proud and really enjoyed that time. Yeah, and you see at the very beginning, there were kind of two things. One, my dad at the beginning said to Phil, when he asked, what do you want? He said, for you to tell us that we're team number one. So we did that. And two, in one of the very beginning interviews, you saw us say that we're going to surprise you. We are competitive. And I think we really proved that. We showed you just how competitive we are. We weren't lackadaisical. We really had that energy and, beat what a lot of people expected from us. So I think a lot of people, they all said, wow, Rob's such a gamer. He's such a good player, so strategic. And I love that we were able to show that. So that made me happy. Thank you. I think we were a great team. So, again, this one was so much fun. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for your support and understanding, what the goal was for us. So, with that, we'll go ahead and start covering the leg. You want to start with just talking from our perspective? A little bit. The gum wall. The Chuli glass area, the Children's Museum for Science, and a few other spots that I know, one of my favorite pizza places in the world, Serious Pie. Highly recommended for any of you in the Pacific Northwest. Go check it out. It's pretty good. Oh, and I know Bellevue a little bit, so I thought, if we're going to pop over to a different city, maybe we make our way over there. But anyways, we get to the airport in Dublin. We go ahead and, I don't know if you see, but during that leg, we don't have a backpack. So what happened was we checked our backpack because we figured we don't really need any of the stuff that we brought with us. It's the last day, so we don't really care. So we'll check it. We'll leave it at the airport. We don't need it. We just wanted the fanny pack with us. Yeah, we wanted to be a little more nimble as we were doing this leg. And what's funny is some of the other teams noticed and they were like, oh, where's your backpack? And so they copied us by also checking their bags. And you might notice at the very end, we only had one backpack in the last couple of legs. So I think it was the last 2, maybe 3. We just threw away some of the stuff that we figured we don't really need anymore and fit his backpack into mine. So that way things would be a little bit lighter. I think if we ever come back for an all-star season, we're taking one backpack and I'm carrying it. I suggest for those of you who might be running the race someday, if you have one person who's either younger or a little more athletic, just bring one backpack. It's worthwhile to lighten the load a bit. Yeah. And I'm sure, all the racers will tell you the same thing. Your first time, oh man, I overpacked and I started throwing away stuff as I was going. And that's, you don't really need as much stuff as you'd think. So we fly. Oh, okay, go ahead. Yes. So we had a layover in New York, and while we were there, we stopped at a bookstore and found a book of Seattle. Well, technically, it was a book about the Pacific Northwest. And so we were kind of looking at it and said, maybe it'll have some information about Seattle. And we're so stoked when we found there was a map inside of it. And it had a map of just Seattle. Yeah, we felt so good having found that. We thought this was going to be such a benefit through the leg. And hopefully everything was going to be in downtown Seattle. So we do fly. And once we landed in Seattle, we were a little surprised that it was going to be a night leg. That's the first one that we've had this season. Usually they're during the day. Yeah, we knew it was going to be packed. Yeah, we were talking. Oh, do you think the finish line is going to be on, what's the field called now? Lumen Field. Maybe it'll be there, or, they have the baseball field and the football field downtown. So, maybe it's at UW. It could be, we were just talking about where we think it might be. So we land and we run to the car. And what's funny is we get in the car and we're looking around like, where's the clue? What's next? And he goes, here, look, it's the Space Needle. So we left in last. And we start driving. But we decided to take a risk to take I-5, the freeway. And, the traffic wasn't too bad yet. And yeah, and we suspected that downtown the streets might be a little more packed because of the game, some other events potentially going on, so we wanted to get around it. Luckily, we get to the Space Needle in first and pull number 1, and that felt huge. We're in the finale, and we have a lead right now. This is unbelievable. oh, the adrenaline starts kicking up, and we get so excited. We're heading up to the top of the Space Needle, and I don't know about you, I'm freaking out a little. I thought it'd be like rappelling down or jumping off, or yeah, I don't know, just what do they call it? Yeah, rappelling. That's what I thought we were going to be doing. But still, walking around the top of it was so cool because it was beautiful. Who does that? It was amazing. So we get our clue, and we head down then to the Chihuly Glass Center, which was really cool. And, you know, it's funny because now that we're in America, people are recognizing and they're seeing what's going on. So we saw a ton of people start looking over, taking pictures, talking about what we were doing. We grab a clue, and we are shocked. It's a scramble. Yeah, because now, you know, one, how are you going to know who's in first or second or third? Like, you don't know. And the adrenaline's going to be high. There's going to be so much drama. I thought it was a great idea. So kudos to the Amazingrace, because I think they should keep doing that. A scramble in the end is an awesome idea. And now, you know, you can't really follow what we're doing. You can't follow other teams. We think it's perfect. So we decided it's time to get directions. And we've got the map that has the first two places written down already on it. So we figure, let's get some step-by-step directions to that third location. And once we finish it, we know, how are you going to get to the other two? Just drive north to the Space Needle. Literally just look up and go that way. So we didn't think we'd have to ask for directions again. It'd be pretty simple. We have the map, so we're good. So if we do them in that order, we're getting directions now, and we're already out, and we don't have to stop and get more directions. So we drive to grab, and that is not what I was expecting at all. I was a little nervous. So we get, the explanation on how to do it. I finish it on my first try, and I go, oh, this is easy. Oh yeah, I was like, okay, yeah, sure, do that. There's $1 million on the line. This is it. We're in the finale. Go for it. Yep, do that. And I was like, I don't know if that's gonna work, but I remember watching it and it felt like it was in slow motion. He legit let go, and my jaw dropped. I was like, what? And he's flying. I was so proud of you. I remember being like, that is awesome. And just, okay, what? Yeah, let's go ahead. Let's get our clue and let's move on. So we get moving and we drive north to Grunge. And so, this one I figured was going to be music because Nirvana is very famous for grunge music in downtown Seattle. So that's, a big part of the history. So I figured it wasn't going to be like playing music or anything. Luckily, it was basically just a puzzle. This one wasn't, too correlated to the music itself. Obviously, if music systems really well, then you might have an advantage, but I don't think any of us had any advantage. We were all struggling. We saw Joel and Garrett and know John and Greg, and we were so pumped. We felt really good because we knew that physically, John and Greg probably weren't going to struggle with grab as much, but Joel and Garrett might be the same and, struggle just a little bit on it. So we get going and John and Greg show up and it's like, all right, the pressure is on. That was a good one. I like that challenge. I think that was a really smart one. You had to, really analyze and think about where things could be. And there's a lot of pressure on. And, in general, I want to say when you're on the Amazing Race, adrenaline is really high. But in the finale, I have never felt anything like that in my entire life. It felt like a dream. I was shaking. There was just so much going on. Yeah, I can only imagine the other people that feel like that might be like a professional athlete or a professional dancer or something. Like I can't even fathom having that kind of feeling in everyday life. Yeah, so then we opened up what I think we defined like a preamp. I think that's what that system's called. Yeah, and luckily he was able to identify it pretty quick because I pulled up the lid and didn't see it. And so then he points out that it's underneath, and I go, oh my goodness, I'm so glad. And then he says something, so I hit him, and I'm like, hey, be quiet. John and Greg are right there. They just did the exact same thing where they said, where's the cord? And I heard that and said, whoa, 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 we have to find the cord. Yeah, they were saying it to each other, and I just happened to overheard it, or happened to overhear it. Or did they ask, did you find it? They might have asked if we found it, but I didn't even think we were looking for a cord. Something like that. They didn't, friendly wave us down and say, hey, just so you know, there's a cord. Like, no one's helping each other in the final episode. It's the finale. Why would you help each other? So, when he says something out loud, I'm like, hey, don't say that out loud. Luckily, they didn't hear it and we moved on. Yep. So we finished that challenge. Joel and Garrett had already left. We leave and we're in second place, and we feel pretty good because Glass is very close. And we knew that Joel and Garrett had to go pretty far for grab. And I was a little concerned because, I'm not great at, art. And it felt like that was going to be a little bit more of an arts and crafts. So I said, you lead. But then you kind of struggled with it. Yeah, that one was difficult. Yep. So we go ahead and start. I begin assembling the glass, and then I start to blow. And it's not really working. There's no, expansion of the glass. So that's when you see, us at the beginning can't really figure it out. So my advice to anyone else that ever goes in the race is, don't, keep repeating the same test over and over and over again. If you can't figure it out, ask for another demonstration, because you can't ask the demonstration, what am I doing wrong? You have to ask for a whole nother demo. So we, figured out that we knew a certain amount of the beginning, but then there was one step that we missed. And so it was a certain detail that once you start blowing, you have to immediately close the hole while you're blowing. So that way you seal the pocket, because if you don't, you're going to lose the air pressure and the air will come back out. So you're blowing and then you cover the hole and then the air will start to expand the glass. So that was, our first real attempt with actually getting, the glass to move, and we got it. It was perfect. So we were pumped. We did it so fast. I think we were there for maybe 30 minutes. It was pretty quick. That, again, we are great at tasks. We work together so well, and that's why we used the express pass earlier on a roadblock and not a detour, because we knew that with things where we work together, we do a really good job. So we got done with that, and we were pumped. We have the full clue, goosebumps everywhere. We are so excited. Yeah, we're like, we're in a race. There's $1 million in the line. We need your help. We need your help. And they're like, yeah, that's fine, but just so you know, my Uber's here in 4 minutes, so you got to write down quick. So I'm scrambling to get these directions down. And looking back, I think that was probably our biggest mistake. I wish we had done that differently. We should have said, you know what, no, we'll just go into the hotel and ask someone to print the directions out for us. Maybe they could have printed a map of the area. And if they had done that, who knows? Things could be different. But I think we went ahead and wrote these directions down. We were in a little bit too much of a rush. Didn't make made a mistake. I didn't get the end of the directions, but I figured let's get close enough and we can figure it out from there. And where we're going is in Kenmore, so it wasn't a big city. It wasn't a large area. There wasn't a ton of people over there. East as well. You had to go up over towards the lake. So we hit the road, and honestly, we kind of struggled to find the freeway entrance too. I was looking on the map, and the map wasn't super clear. So then we finally get on the freeway. We start driving. We take the right exit, but looking for the street to turn on, I couldn't find it. We got lost. So we had to pull over and ask for directions. Yeah, it was pretty late. So eventually we pull over at a store and ask for directions. But I look like a crazy person. So I run to the store and I'm like, please, I need help. But, everyone was like, what is going on? What is this guy doing? So I kind of struggle, finally get some directions. We hit the road again. Then we get to the seaport. And we are last. They were pretty much done. I mean, they had finished it, but they were kind of moving two around. And once we start to open our clue there, that was pretty much right when we heard them yell, yes, get their clue and move on. So we were pretty bummed. Yeah, we had studied every single day of the race several times. We would practice that back and forth. I think we could probably recite everything that we did on the race, everything we saw, every roadblock, every detour in less than 8 minutes. Yeah, it's hard to know. And I don't know about you, but I was hoping that once we finished that, there was one more task, something else. I wanted more, give us an opportunity to catch up again. But we opened that last clue, and this is it, race to the finish line. And we were pretty deflated. So we were a little bummed, but, we're never going to give up. We don't give up. But, we could feel it on the drive. And when we pulled over and asked for directions, I think, I was a little frazzled. So we asked for directions, and I made a mistake and flipped 2 of the steps. And my dad says, hey, remember, these 2 are flipped, so make sure we keep an eye on that. So I wrote a note to remember that. We hit the road, and of course I forgot. Yep. And again, we don't want it to seem like we were bitter or mad about coming in third. But, we did live the dream. We had so many incredible experiences. But when you are so close to grabbing that dream, you're... Yeah, I agree. And I think, now that we've done it, we've watched it, it makes it a lot easier to process those feelings and emotions. And you're right. At the end of the day, I'm so happy and proud of us and our race. There's nothing I would change, except obviously those directions. But actually, there's really nothing I'd change. And, I'm happy that we made it to the finish line. We saw the world. We raced to the end. Phil cannot tell me that we were eliminated. He can't say it. So I'm just beyond proud. And as a super fan of the show, I know that, if I could tell little Corey, 11 years old, hey, you're going to take 3rd place on the Amazing Race someday, he'd be just beaming with pride. So, I know that we made past selves so proud. I agree. Yeah. We, from the bottom of our hearts, want to say thank you for all of the support and tell you that, you guys watching our race and supporting us means the world to us. Because, at first when we applied, we thought nothing of it, that, there's no way they'd pick us. Why would anyone want to watch us? So when we hear that people loved watching us on the show, I mean, my jaw dropped. Yeah. And at the end of the day, that's the most important thing, there's two most important things. One, we had such an incredible experience, and I'm so happy that we lived that dream. And two, we showed people the power of ASL. And I hope that, those of you out there see that and understand, what it means to have ASL. So I hope more of you watch this and love, our relationship and want to get involved in the ASL community. We want you to get involved. I agree. So that's it. Love you all. Thank you.